To Jones. A touch flick that gets picked up by the wind, sails over Loiseau's head. I think he initially called a foul and then realized that it was uncatchable given the conditions. And that disc sails out of bounds, and Doublewide's going to pick up on their own goal line.
Yeah, that's good sportsmanship for him. It's really tempting to try to call those fouls.
Pearsall looking to reset. Over to Denacor. Denacor tries to break the mark to Walsh, but that one goes into the ground. And Alexander's going to have the disc on his own goal, on the double-wide goal line. Looking for a front of the stack isolation play. And a nice little inside flick to Carl Loiseau. And Goat gets the hold, trailing double-wide 4-3. We get a look at this replay here. Lindquist went break side, Kelly went fore side. They actually could have hit Kelly on the fore side there, but great thrower that Alexander is. That's an easy throw to the inside lane for him.
A number of easy choices on that score.
So Doublewide, as we mentioned, is traveling with a smaller roster. A number of players they're missing this weekend include Will Driscoll of Next Gen fame, Dalton Smith, another member of the U23 USA team who pulled his hamstring this college season playing for Texas A&M, tried to suit back up in time for their game against Central Florida and ended up injuring his hamstring worse and will miss a significant portion of the summer.
The sun's starting to come out here, and we're seeing players getting sweaty, getting tired. You might see that fatigue start to pick up here, heading into halftime.
Big pull here. Sails out the back of the end zone. It's going to be a brick, and Jeff Loshkorn, one of the centerpieces of the double-wide offense, is going to pick up. See a vertical stack from double-wide. Wouldn't be, with Ethan Pollock 3 in the stack here, wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of zipper play that sends him deep, but Goat's got a nice poachy defense. LeMasters. Goat still hanging on to its junk set. And LeMasters is going to punt it, but with the help of that wind in his face, the throw is going to float. Reed Bacon makes a grab on the goal line. Resets to Wes Nemec. Back to Bacon. Bacon wants someone to cut to the inside lane. Goat changes the force to backhand. Loshkorn up line, just past a bidding Ojo. And Cunningham beats his man to the cone. Martin wasn't so sure about that one, but the observer rules it's a goal. And that's a hold for Austin, 5-3. So we get a look at this nice shot from Trey LeMasters using the help of the wind to stay in the air a little bit. Ojo so close to that D on Loshkorn. And Chase Cunningham beats Jonathan Martin to the cone. Nice display of sportsmanship there. Both guys knew they were competing to get to the same space, but didn't mind the physicality and didn't let it get out of hand.
And Doublewide is super pleased with that upwind hold.
Yeah, Goat's junky defense there definitely did a good job to stifle Doublewide's primary looks. I'm not even sure that huck was anything other than a bailout from LeMasters.
It certainly was high stall count, and it didn't seem that he found a receiver downfield, more like the disc found its own receiver.
So Austin leads 5-3 here in the second round at the Pro Elite Challenge here in Leesburg, Virginia. This is the first game of Next Gen's coverage this weekend. We're going to bring you 7 more games after this one. 2 more women's pool play games today. Another men's pool play game this afternoon, and all championship bracket action tomorrow.
Now, Ian, we've seen both teams attempt to force the opposing team's cutters deep, and both teams have really had some success with the deep game. Is that a testament to these throwers, or have the conditions died down?
I think the conditions are fluctuating, and the throwers are also definitely up to the challenge. So we see this disc centered to Alexander, who breaks the mark for Loiseau. Great grab in traffic. Dishy to Alexander. Alexander's gonna shoot deep, a great upwind shot to Massa Kelly, who maintains position and taps his right toe in. Michael Kramer was there, but Massa Kelly's done this a few times before, and he maintains position and comes down with that deep shot from Alexander. You know, that's a classic offensive drill that a lot of teams run in practice, where you catch the under, dishy to the handler in power position, and give him an opportunity to rip a nice deep shot to a streaking receiver.
Right, that's classic offense, and no one does it better than number 17.
So we're Goat hanging around here, as we expected they would, trailing Doublewide 5-4. As we mentioned, Goat's traveling with a short roster, a number of their players electing to play with the Toronto Rush in the AUDL this Saturday. They will be joining the team tomorrow. In talking with Mark Lloyd before the weekend, the player and general manager of the Toronto Rush, he was confident in the traveling squad's ability to put the team in a good position for Sunday so that the reinforcements could show up and take care of business in the championship bracket.
Right, Ian, if this short roster can get it done for them, when they get their reinforcements, they'll be in a great position to make a run.
Max Cook picks up and swings it to Chase Cunningham, back to Trey LeMasters. Lots of space for those double wide cutters to work with, and Pollock's gonna get an under. Nemec on the flick sideline. Finds Loshgorn under. Loshgorn's gonna break the mark, finds LeMasters. LeMasters with a scuba. And Chase Cunningham just maintains his position, goes up and comes down with it. Nice patience from Doublewide's offense, making a lot of space early on and then using the width of the field as they march down the pitch.
Absolutely no problem hitting those big unders, getting big chunks of yards, moving it to force side and break side. A lot of confidence here from Doublewide. They look great.
You know, Brian, you were talking a moment ago about how we saw both teams fronting the cutters, and on that point, I think we noticed Goats defenders playing a little more honest on those isolation receivers that definitely allowed for that under progression.
Right, probably a wise adjustment there from Goat to at least force them to make some throws and catches. We've seen little errors here and there from the team, and if you can get an easy turnover by making them throw one or two more throws than they want to. But as we saw, that's certainly not the case. Doublewide working with a lot of confidence puts that one in pretty easily.
Doublewide leads 6-4. As we talked about before this game, Jared Wolf was one of the players to watch. We get a shot of him here. He's walking around in street shoes. It looks like that injury in the first game is going to keep him out here.
That's a big loss there for Austin Doublewide. Hopefully he can suit up later this weekend. We can see some quality play from him.
So Michael Kramer getting set to pull for Doublewide. His team leading 6-4, pulling slightly downwind. Big outside in backhand. And center to Alexander, and we see Goat coming out in a side stack here. Easy yardage for Lindquist, and Loiseau's gonna go deep. Lindquist throw's gonna hang. Loiseau does a good job maintaining position. Caleb Denacor on Loiseau's back. Doublewide didn't really look prepared to defend that side stack. There was a lot of aggressiveness coming out of those isolation sets, and Doublewide didn't have the defenders to give over the top support.
Totally agree. I think that these defenders are playing as close as they can, and just when the offenses run like that, there's just not much of an opportunity to get in there and get your block.
The wind's not helping these defenders out as much as they might like.
Certainly things have died down here. Maybe we might see a little more creative, exciting play that's so often absent in those windy games. Good news for Goat then, because it might make a comeback a little easier.
So Jonathan Martin getting set to pull for Goat. He's been one of the focal points for the Goat D-line offense on the turn, along with Hakulter and Anatoly Vasilyev. Nice inside-out backhand. Max Cook fields the pull, centers to LeMasters. Loshkorn deep. Hakulter a few yards under, taking that away. Breaks the mark to Ethan Pollock. Up to Nemec. Nemec with an interesting mid-range deep shot. Chase Cunningham comes down with it. He's going to shoot deep for Reed Bacon, and that sits perfectly in the wind.
A very impressive touch throw there. That throw is often botched, and we see it just executed perfectly.
Nice job letting that sit on the wind. A great point for Chase Cunningham. Great grab here. Getting up over the Goat defender, and then a nice touch throw that sits perfectly in a place where only Reed Bacon can get it. And that's going to give Doublewide an 8-5 lead at halftime. Brian, what do you expect to see out of both teams in the second half?
Well, Doublewide is certainly running with a lot of confidence there. We see throws go up to receivers that just seem to be mentally on the same page with their throwers. And in a game like this in early conditions, that's going to be key.
So that's the first half here of Next Gen's coverage of Doublewide versus Goat at the Pro Elite Challenge here in Leesburg, Virginia. Doublewide leads 7-5. We'll be back in roughly 10 minutes after this break. Welcome back to Next Gen's coverage of the 2014 USAU Triple Crown Tour. We are here in Leesburg, Virginia at the Chesapeake Invite, the Pro Elite Challenge. Austin Doublewide leads Toronto's Goat 7-5 at the start of the second half. We got Derek Alexander breaking the mark to Jeff Lindquist, a common theme in the Goat offense. Lindquist throwing downwind for Mastic Kelly. That disc is going to sail just a tad too far, and Doublewide's going to have a shot at an upwind break.
An upwind break out of half is certainly going to be a catalyst for this team. Not that they really need it. They've been playing very smoothly so far this game, but that could really put a dash on Goat's hopes for the rest of this game if they convert here.
Purcell with the disc on his own goal line. He's been battling with Alexander on the turn all game. Watson breaks to Walsh. Back to Watson.
Another foul call here, Ian. Out of half, it's continuing. I wonder if either team has really tried to make any adjustments to make play smoother, or if they're just comfortable with the consistent breaks.
Watson shooting deep for Michael Kramer, and there's a crowd of defenders. It looked like Mastic Kelly might have gotten his hand on that D.
Mastic Kelly pulling up limping. Looks like he'll be okay.
So we get another look at this replay. 4 players in the area, Loiseau, and looks like Mathis from Doublewide actually got his fingers on it but couldn't reel it in. So Alexander working from his own goal line now. Purcell on the mark. Breaks to Loiseau. Back to Mike Jones. Back to Loiseau. Out to Link. Jeff Lindquist looking for a reset. Back to Loiseau. Nice little blade. And an inside throw to Mike Jones. And Goat, who was in danger of getting broken out of half, holds on and now trails Doublewide 7-6.
Now we see Goat sort of coming to life here. They're getting their mojo back. They worked it pretty easily. The wind has picked up since we're talking about it dying down, and they seem to have absolutely no problem just moving it around, being very patient, and that's really good to see for your offensive line, to get that patience and that flow.
So we got a chance to speak with Scott Hasty, the Doublewide coach, or excuse me, the Goat coach at halftime. And we were talking to him about any defensive adjustments we might make, or Goat might make, and we saw them forcing players out. We saw them throwing some jump looks. We saw them playing more honest at the end of the half. Scott Hasty said there wasn't too much rhyme or reason to the particular defensive play selection. They just want to throw as many looks as possible as they can at Doublewide to keep the offense on their toes, and that we should expect to see more of the same random assignment in the second half. So Jonathan Martin getting set to pull here for Goat. Goat trails Doublewide 7-6 here at the 2014 Chesapeake Invite Pro Elite Challenge. I'm Ian Toner, joined by Brian Kiernan, and we'll be here for 7 more games this weekend. The disc is centered to Jeff Loshkorn. Breaks the mark to Nemec. Nemec inside to Pollock. Pollock's gonna shoot deep with a nice outside in flick. Chase Cunningham gets separation. And a nice easy hold for the Doublewide offense. Something they do very well is make space for big athletic cutters.
Absolutely, that was one of their keys to the game. And here you see Pollock put an absolutely on the money flick throw deep to Chase Cunningham, who reels it in for a score. That's exactly what you want to be doing if you're Doublewide.
You know, Goat's defenders only have so many choices when they're guarding these deep cutters, and a player like Ethan Pollock coming in for an under is something that you kind of got to give up with his size. Remy Ojo was doing a great job trying to stay within a step of him, but he's usually going to get that underneath every time.
Sure, Ian. We saw actually from those Goat defenders a look that's common a lot of teams like to run, where the side handlers' defenders will poach off into the lane to sort of dissuade those low, easy hucks and easy in-cuts. We saw Pollock get that sort of unconventional across-the-field cut to get that disc in a quick power position and let off a quick huck before that defense could set. Just really great for the offense that they could move it like that. And we'll see if Goat sticks with it, maybe tries it again, or tries something different, and like they said, keep switching it up.
So Alex Axel Brammer, a member of the 2013 Revolver National Championship team, pulls the disc for Doublewide. Physically marking Jeff Lindquist. Lindquist deep, but a great D by Drew Watson, attacking that cheeky breakside throw that Derek Alexander loves. And Doublewide's marching up the field for a break opportunity.
Doublewide in trouble here.
Massac Kelly gets the D. Mike Jones. Back to Jones.
An excellent poach layout D by Andrew Amerson.
The man who threw the turnover gets it right back 2 throws later. Talk about a rookie making a statement there.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. A lot of rookies, they'll make those turns, but they also have some electricity in them that's going to allow them to make those big plays. That's really what you're looking for.
Amerson with a lot of energy on that block, and then he takes off as soon as he gets it. You see Mike Jones kind of hesitate there for a second. And Drew Watson's able to pick up and find Amerson without any difficulty.
It's so hard on defense after being the victim of a block to just be able to transition into playing defense yourself. And when you can't make that happen, then you see things like that. And absolutely fantastic sequence by Emerson.
So Doublewide now leads 9-6. A reminder that today's pool play games are going to 13. We incorrectly reported the score 8-5 at halftime. It was really 7-5. So Doublewide in the driver's seat here, pulling with the wind at their backs. Another note that we got an update on at halftime, we had some people asking about the status of Jeff Powell, one of GOAT's stronger cutters. He pulled his hamstring 3 weeks ago in an AUDL game and tried to warm up this morning, said he might have minorly re-pulled it again, just wasn't ready to go. So our best wishes to him for a speedy recovery, but don't expect to be seeing him on the field this weekend.
Right, we told him we were sorry, and he said, hey, me too.
Center to Alexander. Loiseau in space. No continuation cuts off of Loiseau's turnaround. Something that GOAT definitely wishes they could have done differently there.
It looks like that continuation cut was coming a little late, and it looks like it was because of getting a little tangled up there. Waltz for Doublewide, playing that nice physical defense that you like to see from your defenders and you hate to see from the other team.
Vasiliev with the disc now. He'll break the mark to Jonathan Martin. Martin, nice trust throw out to Vasiliev, up to Loiseau. GOAT really using the width of the field here. Alexander. Inside to Vasiliev. Up to Lindquist. Loiseau streaking. Too much traffic in the area for him to hit that shot. Reset to Alexander. Gets the backhand off and takes off. Gets it right back from Vasiliev. You love seeing this pace from Alexander. That's what he's so dangerous for. Up to Vasiliev and a nice, easy continuation to Jeff Lindquist. You know, as the point wore on there, we almost saw a kind of dominator set from the handlers there between Alexander and Vasiliev, just kind of taking over the point and throwing insides and pushing the pace at their will.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a treat to watch the handlers with their, especially with two of these quality. Quick throws, quick movement. We're going to take a quick look here. You can just see these quick throws, not even a second pause after the release, and you're making your cut already. It's so hard to keep up as a defender.
Yeah, oftentimes, you know, at the elite levels, you're told to be constantly repositioning and constantly taking away the most dangerous point of attack, but when these throwers are throwing and going and breaking the mark at their pace, it's very hard to readjust accurately. So GOAT trails Doublewide 9-7 here at the 2014 Chesapeake Invite Pro Elite Challenge. GOAT's gonna pull with the wind at their back. Jonathan Martinez doing a lot of work for this GOAT D-line. Excuse me, Jonathan Martin. His nickname is Martinez. Center to LeMasters. Doublewide with a split stack. GOAT comes junk. A nice clam-like defense. Chase Cunningham on the trap sideline. Upline to LeMasters. LeMasters resets to Cunningham. Cunningham, a very young player on Doublewide who's doing a great job filling in with this kind of ad hoc offensive line, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen him in the handler set. Now he's the farthest man from the disc. Now he's coming back in. That sort of movement really, oh, we see an almost D there from Remy.
Cheeky throw from Max Cook. He misled the defender with his eyes and snuck that throw in there. And this deep shot for Ethan Pollock is just a little too tough to execute in the wind. It saw it blade a little earlier.
Yeah, just a touch too long. Pollock is someone that you can rely on for both that length and that explosion. An excellent deep receiver. but that sort of up the middle of the field zone throw is always going to be tough, no matter how good of a thrower you are.
Hochhalter working from Goat's goal line. Inside to Remy Ojo. Another good matchup here, Remy Ojo and Chase Cunningham. Two young players having a big impact on this game. Ojo taking some defensive assignments and Cunningham doing a great job for Doublewide's offense.
Just a lot more of that fast movement here from Goat.
And we see a lot of frustration here from Goat. The Goat handler screaming at Remy Ojo in particular to cut when he was last in the stack. You can tell the fatigue is starting to set in and factor into this game. Deep shot is going to go up to Jonathan Martin, but Reed Bacon is able to make up the ground and swat it out of bounds.
Right, Bacon slips initially here. And is able to, right there, just with no question, get to that disc, knock it out of bounds.
You love to see those recovery Ds, Brian.
Right, and hustle is one of the most important things you can play in this game.
LeMasters on his own cone. Rips it up line. Hochhalter and Loshkorn, they both go up. On the second attempt, Loshkorn maintains his position and comes down with it. Bacon on the goal line. Resets to Loshkorn. Saw Max Cook do a sneaky little movement where he put his finger out and asked for the disc, but thrower couldn't find him. And then Cook with a visionary scoober over the stack to who else but Chase Cunningham, the young player out of Texas who's having a great impact on this game.
Sure, as much as we were talking about Goat's fast handler movement, Cook is one of the faster handlers I think that we would see at this tournament. He has that quick acceleration and also those throws where maybe his release will surprise you.
So we get a look at that score from Doublewide. A nice scoober from Cook to Cunningham. Doublewide now leads 10-7 in the battle of short squads. Reminder that these games are played to 13 today in this pool play format. Alex Brammer, player out of Kansas, getting set to pull for Doublewide. Brammer with a nice big inside-out backhand. It's going to pin Goat in their back corner. Center to Alexander. Over to Loiseau. Loiseau back to Alexander. We see a lot of space. We could see another dominator here. Back to Alexander. Around. Back to Loiseau. It's definitely a dominator here for the Goat offense. You see the cutters just making space for those handlers to move. And now Goat's transitioning to a vert stack. Alexander able to attack the break side up to Loiseau. Loiseau looking to break the mark. Mathis with a difficult mark, made contact there. Doesn't contest the foul. Kinsey confirms that the disc is gonna come in on one. Loiseau looking for Mike Jones on the reset. Jones can't get the break throw off. He travels. Believe he called contact. Reset to Massac Kelly on the near sideline. And the simple reset throw to Jones is dropped. Purcell's gonna shoot it deep right away to Emerson.
Such a quick turn of events here. We saw Goat confidently working it up to half field.
And now Austin leading 11-7. We're gonna take a look back at the Patagonia play in the game, which happened in the first half. Doublewide with a chance to break, and Michael Mathis Looking up line to Purcell, who absolutely explodes past his man and fully extends to grab that score and a crucial break. Purcell been one of the more effective players in Doublewide's D-line offense, rightfully earning that Patagonia Play of the Game honor. More thanks to our sponsor, Patagonia. They provide great team discounts to a number of the elite club teams and are available to other club teams who are interested, and provide individual pro player discounts to members of those teams. We see Jared Wolf giving instruction to the Doublewide defense. And Brian, if we can just jump back to the last point there, we saw Goat trying to work the disc off the line, and just a simple drop from the Goat reset handler. When we spoke with Scott Hasty at halftime, the Goat coach, he wasn't concerned about any systematic problems or the approach of his offense. He really mentioned that the execution just needed to improve.
Right, Ian, that point was certainly a testament to that. Just a simple drop, and with a lead like this, Doublewide can go ahead and just shoot it deep, and they take that heartbreaking point away from Goat.
So Alexander with the disc, finds Massac Kelly under, and Massac Kelly shooting deep for Jonathan Martin. We've seen that play a few times before, haven't we, Brian?
Oh yeah, terrific throw in Massac Kelly. His receiver was maybe even with his defender, and he just puts it where the defender has absolutely no play on that disc. It's a nice, wide open, deep portion of the end zone. An easy catch, easy point.
It's great to have a cutter who's as dynamic as Isaiah Massac Kelly is, because he's not one of those guys who's gonna, okay, I'll earn you the yardage, and then I need to, get it back to a handler as quick as I can. He's someone who has an arsenal of deep shots, who's gonna force defenders to respect his deep throwing capability, and we saw him execute very well there. Soft cap just went off. So even though this game is already at 11-8, it will still be played to 13 no matter what.
Yeah, going back to what you said about Massac Kelly, Ian, those are some of the most dangerous players in Ultimate, because it's such a defensive nightmare to try to put someone on. Do you put a handler defender? Do you put an athletic cutter? I mean, who can really cover someone who can really throw and turn like that?
Loshgorn dishes and goes deep. Massac Kelly picks him up from the back of the stack.
Goat playing a contained defense right now.
LeMasters to Cook. Cook with a great scoober. That's dropped by Wes Nemec. We saw Nemec take a peek upfield before that disc came into his hands. And Hochhalter's gonna pick up with a chance to break. And he shoots it over the stack to Massac Kelly, who gets up over Max Cook and is pretty ecstatic about that one. A nice shot from Hochhalter. You don't usually see those throws over the stack, but very well executed. Cook had a shot at it. Massac Kelly beat his own defender, and Massac Kelly came down with it, and we see him trying to fire up his team in a sluggish second half here with Goat trailing 9-11.
Yeah, absolutely explosive from Massac Kelly. You can see just from his facial expressions as we've been watching him this second half, he wants this bad. The game's not over till it's over, and he's going to put in as many points as he can to help his team out. Just a tremendous effort there.
So Doublewide's offense will trot back to the line. Same unit. Doublewide leads 11-9 in this game to 13.
Goat not going out quietly, still playing with a lot of fire. Look to see a lot of intensity on this D point for them.
And Brian, I don't know about you, but sitting here in the scaffolding, it feels like the wind has transitioned to a little bit of a crosswind.
It's certainly swirling, and that's going to make it especially difficult on these teams, not really knowing how to adjust their offensive or defensive sets for that matter.
Goat's pull is going to get pushed out of bounds by that wind. Loshgorn will go to pick up for Doublewide.
That may have been the first out-of-bounds pull we've seen this game. No, I've been corrected.
So Doublewide gonna set up with a split stack with Reed Bacon on one side and Pollock with some space in the middle, and Cunningham and Nemec maintaining space. Pollock stretching deep. Junk from Goat to contain here. Cook with the disc on the backhand sideline. A little miscommunication on that dump there with Loshkorn. A silly turnover.
That's that quick release we've been talking about from Cook. Maybe he was too quick even for his teammates.
Remy Ojo on the goal line. Cook and Vasiliev battling to play defense together, and Ojo sneaks a cheeky little throw into David Hochhalter. We had 3 or 4 double-wide defenders in the area, but Hochhalter's Johnny on the spot, sticks out his hand, and Goat breaks to bring this game within 1. 11-10, the closest it's been since early in the first half.
You know, Ian, Mazzucchelli could have not tried as hard for that, not gone as huge for that bid he had, and maybe Goat didn't score that point, but going out, going huge for that, getting a quick break here, this game is very much in reach for these Goat players.
So Doublewide leads 11-10. We've got a timeout here at the fields at the Chesapeake Invite. We will be right back after these words from our sponsors. Welcome back to Next Gen's coverage of the 2014 Chesapeake Invite Pro Elite Challenge. We have Austin Doublewide leading Toronto's Goat 11-10 here in the second round of play. A reminder that today's games are played to 13. We take a look back at the first round today. Doublewide defeated soundly by a very deep Pony team, 13-8. And Goat eking out a 12-11 double game point victory over Mad Cow that was capped.
You know, Ian, if you're Doublewide here, I think you go immediately to look to a deep shot. That way you circumvent this odd poachy defense and you get to do what you do best. Utilize those downfield athletic receivers.
Yeah, Goat's offense, or excuse me, Doublewide's offense definitely has to be feeling the pressure, and kind of just as you said, after some swinging the disc back and forth, a nice, easy, deep shot.
It looks like Martin sort of pulled up on that sideline. He's hunched over now. I don't know if there was a miscommunication or something, but the man released from his zone. Hopefully he's okay, and Goat can stay in this game. Yeah, Hochhalter was the other deep defender in the vicinity, and it looked like he was stretched a little bit to the other deep threat on the break side. Just nice execution by Doublewide's offense. You expect a veteran like Max Cook to have the patience and execution necessary to win the point, and he comes through there. So now Doublewide is on game point. They lead Goat 12-10. Goat with their backs against the wall here. Going to be working against a crosswind, trying to get a hold and keep this game alive. So we get a look at Isaiah Mazzucchelli there for a second. He's been a big player for Goat, getting a lot of space and separation on offense, and when he's played on the defensive line, he's been aggressive after the turn and helped Goat get a couple key breaks back. So Drew Watson getting set to pull for Doublewide. He's had nice pulls all game. See how he uses the wind this time. An inside-out backhand that kind of flattens out and gets pushed over right away. Goat's gonna start with the disc at the brick mark. Let's see if they can set something up. Key for Goat here is to not turn the disc over on one of those simple turnovers we've seen, trying to use their handler motion. Mazzucchelli's got a lot of separation deep, and it's going up to him. And the throw blades in over his shoulder. He tries to pancake it above his head. Can't quite come down with it. It was a great deep shot in a place where only Mazzucchelli could catch it. It was a great throw. The wind did put a little action on it.
Tremendous break throw from Purcell to get this D-line offense started. And Doublewide's marching up the field on game point here. Over to Brammer. Brammer looking for a reset, finds Purcell, who's been aggressive on the turn all game. He's gonna call the timeout on game point. A few yards outside the end zone. Great opportunity for Doublewide to close it out here.
Let's see what they can come up with here. Doublewide right now calling a play that could win them the game, and likewise Goat trying to throw any defense they can to stop it.
Purcell, a crafty break thrower in his own right. Wouldn't expect to see him try and break the mark off the timeout here.
This close to the goal line, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of room for break throws. There's a lot of room for handler motion. Maybe we can see something, maybe an upline cut, maybe something quick to the front of the stack. It's going to be a tall order for Goat to defend this.
So Goat with their backs against the wall here. Trailing 12-10 in a game to 13. Doublewide's going to come in with the disc off the timeout. Ryan Purcell will have the disc. Alexander Brammer is about 45 degrees back, presumably on the fore side. Mike Jones is going to, at least for the moment, stay out in that fore side lane for a poach for a second. It'll open up a nice, easy around dump for Brammer if he wants it. Alexander taps it in, takes a step off to contain the break throw. Swung to Brammer. Back to Purcell, who goes. Brammer. Alexander and Purcell getting very physical.
And that's Amerson to the cone, and that's your game.
Nice patience there in the red zone from Doublewide's offense. Always tough to contain those aggressive handlers, but in the end, Cutter just beat his man to the fore side cone. As we get a look at the setup here, Amerson doing a great job reeling in that deep shot, giving Doublewide position, and then beats his man to the cone, and Doublewide wins 13-10 over a short-handed Goat team. So both teams stand at 1-1 after the second round of pool play here at the 2014 Pro Elite Challenge at the Chesapeake Invite. That's all for this game. Doublewide wins 13-11. And we will be back with more women's pool play coverage after a short break.